name's Kelly Heger. I am a mom of 4 children, and I have a lovely husband, Bruce. My children in ages are 25, almost 26, 19, almost 20. That's Brett and Brian. Brian's first, then Brett. And Jenna just graduated high school, and she's 18. And then, of course, my special Jillian, who's 23 years old. I'm a registered nurse, and I became a nurse basically because of Jillian. She inspired me to go back to school. And the reason for my going back to school was really to communicate more effectively with physicians. I felt that I really needed that knowledge base to be able to understand what they were telling me about what was wrong with Jillian. And it's really helped me because I have been able to take care of Jillian so effectively by just going back to school. So when Jillian was born, we were quite excited. We went home from the hospital with this beautiful, tiny little baby, and we were thrilled. And within 24 hours, unfortunately, I got sick. I got the chills, I had a fever, so I had to go back to the hospital. And I remember being in the emergency room with Jillian, and I said to my husband, would you please just take her for a walk? I was afraid she was gonna get sick. So he's like, I get it. Okay, I'll go. And so he went up to the mother-infant unit where we had just left the night before. And I wasn't supposed to be in the emergency room either, so I was also supposed to be in the mother-infant unit, so I went up there to be examined.
I stood outside the elevator, just in the hallway, just pacing around, waiting for my next instruction. And a nurse came out and happened to see me, and she was asking why I was back there, and I told her what was going on with my wife. She was one of the nurses that was there for the few days that we were there, and she was like, wow, look at you, you look like a big proud daddy. And I was like, oh yeah, and I love my little baby. And I kissed her on the forehead, and right then I said, yeah, but you know, every time I kiss her, she just seems so cold. She goes, oh, let me take her, I'll take her temperature. She tried to take my daughter's temperature and then started tapping on the thermometer like it wasn't working. And she said, I gotta get another thermometer. She hands the baby back to me, and she leaves the room, comes back, another digital thermometer, and she starts taking her temperature again. That's when she got up really fast and turned to me and said, I'm gonna take the baby to see the girls. And again, I thought it was really odd. I sat there for a few seconds thinking about it, and she had left the room. And I said, I didn't want to alarm Kelly, yeah, so I said,
I had no idea it was.
Hey, Kel, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go see where Jilly is. And the second I left the room, it was like code blue. Everything was crazy out in the hallway, and they told me that Jillian was having a serious issue. And they put her in my shirt to keep her warm.
Her temperature was so low that she would have died within 3 hours. And had we not gone to the hospital, we wouldn't have known. We stayed in the hospital for over a month maybe, and they did every test they could do. All the metabolic tests, all the blood tests. They did a test for Down syndrome. She had severe ptosis of her eyes, so her eyes were extremely droopy. And so they were asking us all kinds of questions about, does anybody in your family have X, Y, and Z? But everything came back normal. So we went home with a baby that we thought was normal. And around, I'm gonna say 3 or 4 months, I noticed, I knew something was kind of off with just feeling her, and the way she felt in my arms. She kind of felt like floppy, like just kind of like listless. She slept 20 hours a day, didn't really open her eyes a lot. She had trouble feeding. She wasn't feeding very well. But I knew something was not right, but not quite sure because you're a new mom. And then, your pediatrician, your visits, they would be like, no, she's doing fine. And then right around 3 months, she started having, I know what it is now. Back then I didn't. It was ocular gyre crises, of which I had no idea that's what it was. I thought she was just getting overexcited in the afternoon. So she would hyperextend and throw her head back. That was clearly an ocular gyre crisis, but I did not know that. And then she'd have the raspy breathing, difficulty breathing, nasal flaring. She would become extremely diaphoretic, sweating, bead of sweats all over her head, all over the forehead, all over the top of her head. She would just bead with sweat. And it was classic. every day at 3 or 4 o'clock, she would arch back, roll her eyes back, and become dystonic. And obviously I didn't know those were the words to use back then, but back then I would tell the doctors that she became stiff. She was stiff, she was uncomfortable. And then I also started saying she looked like she was having seizures. So one day she was having one of these episodes, and I called Children's Hospital, I called the emergency room, and I just explained, I said, I have a little baby, she's 5 months old, and she is having, I don't know if it's a seizure, but it looks like it. Her eyes are rolled in her head. Her body's all twisted, and she's having abnormal breathing. And they were like, call an ambulance, call 911 right now. So he packed her up, and we went to Children's Hospital. We had her in the emergency room. She was in one of her spells. So what they did is they obviously gave her medication to calm that spell down. But thankfully, the doctor that was on call that weekend was Dr. Svoboda, who diagnosed the first case in our country 2 months prior. And we were just by chance lucky. Lucky that, I wouldn't say lucky, but for us, we felt we had a diagnosis when we met her. She basically said to us straight up, I can't tell you that this is what it is, but I'm almost positive this is what it is. She did the workup, she did a spinal tap, and 2 months later, we got the diagnosis, and that's when life took a different turn. It's AADC Deficiency. So Jillian was diagnosed at 5.5 months. She was the youngest child to be diagnosed with this disease and the 4th child in the world. I want to say in the beginning, we were kind of almost relieved to have a diagnosis. It was a big deal. The hard part came when the disease started to progress. In the last couple of years, Jillian obviously has taken a decline. She got the trach, and the trach kind of was a big, huge thing to get over. It was tough. She had severe neurostorming, severe dystonia. A year, almost 2 years ago, she got her PICC line, so she has to be IV fed instead of fed through her J or G tube. She's just beaten so many odds. Part of her journey is my husband and I and our family's journey. And right now, every day, I come into Jillian's room, and I mean, obviously I need help. I can't do this 24/7. So we do have nursing to help us, not as much as we need. Right now our support system is great, but it's not enough. And the reason why is because she's so difficult. So Jillian is approved for 24/7 nursing care so that she can remain out of the hospital. Jillian is, she's an angel. She's an angel. We feel like we've been blessed with an angel. And Jillian's got an amazing spirit. She's just, she's fun, she's witty, she's courageous, obviously, because she goes through so much. But Jillian's likes, oh, she's funny. She's always been, you know, outside of the discomfort and the pain that she suffers through because of the disability, she wants to be happy. Jillian is she's full of life. Jillian, outside, like I said, of her disease process, she wants to be happy. And you can see it because her eyes are just, they're there. You know, she looks at you, not through you. So she's with you in conversation and in play. I know that the journey has taken us to a different place right now, but like if I could step back into her world growing up, she just wanted to be part of everything. I don't thought she was any different than anybody else. So I treated her that way. We've done so much with her. And my motto was, you're gonna do everything that any other child could do. So if you wanna dance, we're gonna dance. And we would, you know, and she'd kick her arms and her legs, and we'd spin her. The
first thing I do when I come home is I go see Jillian and jump into bed with her, give her a bunch of kisses, and you know, well, you know, to me, that's very important that I do that. I watch movies with her at night, and, you know, I try to help the nurses as much as I can. I like it when Jillian's brothers and sisters laying there. It makes me happy. It makes me feel like it's not just me, it's everybody, you know what I mean? So that's important to me.
We'd go, kids like sledding. She didn't miss out on sledding. We'd toboggan, we'd go tubing we called it tubing in a sled, but we also tubed in the lake. She loved to make snow angels and catch the snowflakes on her face. I would obviously help her with her arms and her legs so that she could make the angels. She loves walks. She loves to go for her walks and loves to be in the back porch and, loves swimming. We haven't been able to go since the trach. Loves to just be part of everything, loves to sit by the fire, loves the wind in her face, loves the beach. So she just like any other kid, she just wants to be part of it. And I feel that's something that we felt really good about, is that we didn't treat her differently. Jilly just loves life.
There was days that we do simple things, like when all the kids are outside rollerblading, she bought Jilly some roller skates and she took her out there and held her and got her roller skating with the kids, and she was laughing. It was insane. It was like so good. Simple things, you gotta do it all.
So you have to be the advocate. Your child needs your voice. My biggest advice is to do your best to embrace what you've been given. I know it's sad, it's hard, especially new diagnosed families, but embrace it and get all the information that you can possibly get. Get knowledgeable yourself, understand the medical terminology, because it will help you digest and learn to take care of your child. To, not give up, just live life. Don't let this influence, don't let this take you down. Figure out a way to make it part of your life. And my husband and I used to say, this is our life. This is our life, and we just need to go with it. And we need to learn how to live with it and deal with it. One of the things that kept me going, and I remember, I don't know where this thought came from, but after Jillian was diagnosed, I was laying in bed one night, and you wake up in the middle of the night for weird reasons. I guess everybody does, but when you have a kid that's really sick. And I came up with this saying, and it's been her saying from the gate. It's, one day I will walk, one day I will talk, today I can smile.